Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are talking about Dead Man's Wire. This is the new Gus Van Sant film starring Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery, and it was a really good time at the movies. So I want to talk about it. If you're new around here, check out my other videos. I just did a 2026 Most Anticipated, as well as my review of Primate and the Plague, as I rank every movie that I watched this year. You can find that list of movies down in the description of my letterboxd, and at the end of the year, I will be doing a big video talking about all of them. So, if you want to stick around for any of that stuff, please leave a like and subscribe, and let's get right into the review. So, Dead Man's Wire is based on the true story of Tony Kiritsis, a man who walked into the office of Richard O. Hall, a mortgage broker, and took him hostage by strapping a device he called the Dead Man's Wire around his neck. Basically, the Dead Man's Wire was a device that was strapped around Richard's neck and strapped around Tony's neck, that if Tony was shot and moved too, or if Tony moved too far away from Richard, or vice versa, Richard moved too far away from Tony, the shotgun would go off and kill Richard. This event took place in 1977, in February of 1977, and it was a 63-hour standoff between Tony with his hostage and the police, who basically surrounded his apartment. So this is a true story. There is tons of video and photo evidence, even award-winning photo that won a Pulitzer Prize of this encounter. And what is interesting about this film is that the angle that it tells the story from is very unique. So Gus Van Sant, I hope I'm not butchering that name, is the director here, and I have never seen any of his other films, at least not from my knowledge. So this was a brand new director for me, and honestly, beautiful cinematography. The cinematography is immaculate in this movie. It is by far the standout feature, and I adored it. It was awesome. The way that they intercut certain sequences is really incredible. One big thing that was really cool with the cinematography is that in like moments of more of like super chaotic stuff happening, they would intercut it with live footage where it would be like from the perspective of like the news anchor or like a photographer on the sidelines, and it would feel like you were almost watching a documentary at the same time as you were watching a movie adaptation of the same thing, if that makes sense. Even though like the documentary part of it was still just the actors playing as those characters, it felt very authentic in comparison, and that really helped a lot. So the cinematography I thought was incredible. Some of the shot work in general is just really good. I am really glad they stuck with the screen ratio that they stuck with instead of going with the full widescreen ratio. I thought that made it look even better. In general, I just think that this movie looks really gorgeous, and they did a great job with that. The thing I was the most mixed on, and I gradually got, like, I enjoyed it more throughout the film, was the dialogue and, like, the dialect, really, to be honest with you. Like, obviously, these people are speaking English, but they all have a bit of a thicker country accent. Its story takes place in Indianapolis, so there is some more heavy kind of accents on these people that are more country sounding. But Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery, their performances are great. They do the emotional like payoff moments really well, but the script itself is written almost as comedic. Like the way that they were intended to perform this was very much a kind of a stylish, like almost like a 70s mock film, if that makes sense. Like, since the story took place in the 70s, they wanted it to feel like you were watching a movie in the 70s. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I felt while I was watching this movie, where the dialogue felt like I was watching an old movie, where the dialogue is significantly less, like, detailed and fluid. The dialogue was awkward. That's the word I'm looking for. The dialogue was awkward for almost the entire film, but I think that was kind of the point, especially because watching real footage of the event, Tony Kiritsis is an awkward guy. Just the way that he speaks, he tries to add this like humor to everything, and even the moment in the film that I thought was by far the highlight of the film, when he's when they recreate the scene where he goes out and talks with the police with Richard on the shotgun in front of everybody while being news broadcasted. That awkwardness is so vast and so apparent, and it works really well for some reason. Like, but the beginning of the film, I was super mixed on. I was like, this dialogue is weird. Like, I know Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery are great actors. Like, I like everything they've been in, but the dialogue is throwing me off here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be taking this movie seriously or, like, what they're going for. And then by the time we got to that scene, and honestly before that, but that was the one that I really was like, oh, okay, I get it now. The dialogue felt natural. It felt really interesting, and I really appreciated that. It's definitely got this stylish flair to it that I assume that Gus Van Sant has done with his other films, and I am excited to check out his other movies because I've never seen any of them, and I'm really interested in him as a director now. Just the whole vibe of the movie is very, very off-kilter, I guess is the best way to put it. It's just such a outlandish movie, and it works. It really works for what they're going for with this story. As for the actual acting performances, other than just the dialogue being definitely off-kilter and a little bit unique, Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery are excellent here. Al Pacino is really funny. His character is not in it very long, but he is hysterical when he is on screen. And the other characters are decent enough. Like, the acting works for the kind of film they're making. And in general, I was very intrigued with the narrative from start to finish. I would clap that one up. I totally forgot, and I was going here anyways. Coleman Domingo is incredible as the radio announcer. I can imagine the Letterboxd reviews talking about that voice that he does. Fantastic work from him. I have recently really liked everything that he's been in, so I hope to see Coleman Domingo's career get even better moving forward with other really great new stuff. That would be awesome. But in general, I had a great time with this movie. I thought Dead Man's Wire was a fantastic way to retell this very dark but almost kind of ridiculous scenario. Because remember, Tony Kiritsis and even Richard Hall, they didn't act like they were really like scared or like sinister during any of this. Like, they're having a laugh. They're like, it's such a ridiculous thing that happened, and the fact that, like, the way the police handled the situation was so unique and so different, because in the 70s it was just a different time and the police didn't really know how to handle this kind of a scenario. So it was a very interesting adaptation of this kind of a story. As for negatives, to be honest with you, I don't have any negatives, except maybe the pacing could be my big thing. I gave this movie 4 stars, spoiler alert, as I'm going to say again at the end of the video, but only reason it didn't really get the other, like, star is because, A, it's not really a film that's trying to be the best movie ever made. Like, it knows that it knows what it is, so it works. And the pacing is very intentional, but it's very slow. I watched this one with my dad, as I usually do with every movie, and he told me he's not very into the slower moving movies, and he told me that this one was definitely harder for him to sit through. So if you're not into slow pace, then this is probably a big negative for you, but for me, it really worked. I thought the pacing was excellent. Mainly helps that I love Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery's performances. I thought they did incredible, and like I said, Gus Van Sant's directing is also fantastic here. And yeah, that pretty much sums up everything I have to say about this movie. I didn't think this was going to be a long review, because this one is a pretty genuine yes from me. Go watch this one. It's great. It's a fun time at the movie theater. There were a lot of people in my theater who were laughing because the jokes and the humor are actually really good. This is just in general a really fun movie. And yeah, that pretty much is all I have to say about this. So yeah, that's Dead Man's Wire. Oh, actually, one more thing I want to add. When I walked into the movie theater, I totally expected this to be like a very, very dead movie. Because it's not, like, it didn't have a projection to sell very well in general. But apparently a lot of it was filmed around the area that I'm from. And so apparently all of the showings had been sold out all night for the movie, and my theater was packed, and everybody had a really good time, which is in complete contrast to my experience with Primate, where I had this massive theater, and it was literally just me and my dad sitting in there. So that was really nice, and having all these people around and them laughing at all the jokes and stuff, and everybody was engaged and gasping and whatever. It was a lot of fun. So I really enjoyed this one. I think this movie is excellent. I am excited to watch all of Gus Van Sant's other work, and Bill Skarsgård and Zachary Montgomery are fantastic. So if you can handle slower paced, and if you care anything about the retelling of this kind of a story, this one is absolutely for you. And that about summarizes everything I have to say about Dead Man's Wire. Sorry if I'm talking really fast. I knew everything I wanted to say about this movie and just wanted to kind of preach it to you, I guess. So there you go. That's going to end it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you would like to check out my list of all of my 2026 films ranked, spoiler alert, this is my favorite out of the 3 films that I've seen this year. You can check that out in my letterbox in the description. Remember, I'm going to be making a big long video talking about every movie I've seen this year at the end of the year, so you can keep up to date with everything as it's created down there. And you can also check out my most anticipated films of 2026 in my YouTube channel. So that's going to be all from me, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.